I'm grateful to be here. We're in Nashville. I was telling you, Noah, that we still don't have power at the office. So we're getting from home, but really excited to cast a vision and help you guys understand now why getting in the media matters more than ever. This is going to be very tactical, action based. Like Noah said, you'll get access to the slides. And then if you have any questions, please ask me at the very end and we will go into it. 30-second high level overview. I've been in the CPG space since 2012 at Publicity for Good. We're the number one communications firm for purpose driven brands, really specializing in working in CPG brands, whether you're a startup, whether you've had an exit like in Nut Pods. We've worked with over 400 brands and we literally get obsessed with your brand, help you scale. We do manage PR, influencers, social media, and awards. And today we're really going to talk about how to get your CPG brand in the media in 30 days or less, how to do it, how to know how to do it. And I'm going to give you a high level overview of why it matters now more than ever, especially with Grok, ChatGPT, and all the LLMs. I will share my screen. And then if you have questions, you can put them in the chat as I go. Happy to answer them at the very end, and we will get into it. All right. So this is really going to be about, it's going to be how to get your CPG brand in the media in 30 days or less. And this is really bringing to you, and can you guys see this okay? Nothing's blocking it or anything. This is based on working with 400 plus brands, Nut Pods, Flying Ember, some incredible vegan and plant-based brands to become industry leaders. Why I love PR is it's going to allow you to reach your consumers. It's going to allow you to stand out amongst competitors. The other thing too is imagine how long and how much capital it's going to take to build 1 million followers on Instagram. You absolutely need social media because retailers care. And I believe if you're not posting on social, retail or buyers and consumers might be like, is this brand dead? But the power of PR is you're able to get in front of their audiences. So even if you live in a small town, you could do one local TV segment on your local ABC, CBS, NBC, or Fox, and literally you are exposed to their audience, right? So really exciting. A lot of times as founders, you guys have been behind the scenes thinking about packaging and logistics, and you're doing everything. Where PR comes into play high level is really helping you build the founder story, the why, and helping you scale your brand and ensuring that you're supporting your retail partners with, announcing that you are expanding as well. Very tactical, going to give you the blueprint of how to get in the media in 30 days or less. I will also walk you through the rich formula. Noah, make sure I do that. So let's get into it. The one thing that I want to make sure you understand, though, to help you really understand why you getting in the media, which media could be a podcast, it could be local TV, local radio, being on Veg News for a new product, or in a roundup for Veganary or any of those things, is that people are going to ChatGPT to make choices. People are up at night searching who makes the best plant-based garden burger. People are asking those questions, and when people go to Grok and ChatGPT, they have a higher intent to buy. How you end up in the LLMs is through publicity, long term. The other thing, as well as Google traffic, is decreasing, although it still matters. So that's a whole 360 to understand. Not only are you building a personal brand, you're building legacy, you're reaching consumers and customers with publicity, but now you're getting ahead strategically of how to rank in the LLMs because yes, Google traffic is decreasing and the game is evolving and changing. So there's a huge level playing ground for a lot of incredible brands that step into building a personal brand. A brand that I know of that I don't know that you guys know or follow, or brands that I think who have done PR really well would be like a Midday Squares. If you follow Midday Squares, they have an incredible personal brand. Even Pathwater. I worked with Pathwater when they were in the infancy of their brand. And a lot of their messaging has been about their for good component and cleaning the ocean, right? So you guys know when brands are building a movement, getting in the media, and ultimately raising awareness about their product, their differentiator, and or why their product matters, right? So high level, it could be focused on why the health benefits of a plant-based lifestyle or why your tofu is better than a competitor, but it's going to help you get ahead of the game. So we're going to go through some tactics, and again, you guys will get access to this. So the first thing we're going to go through is how to leverage easy media to get an interview right and open the door to national media. So we have a lot of clients that want to be featured on Food and Wine, CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, all those stream outlets. And I absolutely believe if it's meant to be, it'll happen. But also, you need to ensure you're ready. You need to ensure your messaging is where it needs to be, and you need social proof. So even before you would get considered for those national opportunities, you need local media and or clips of you in the media prior. Part of it is they want to see how you show up in the media. Because at the end of the day, what matters to media members is that they have guests that are providing value. Guests are talking about trending topics. So if there's any industry or Nielsen data about plant-based or vegan trends increasing, and they want to ensure that you're not going to be too promotional. Because our job as publicists, and even if you're going to pitch yourself, is to bridge the gap between selling a product and the story and the value, right? Like I've seen people fail when they just pitch their product. But when you add in the heart, the why, the news jacking, all those things, you're going to be successful. So you have to start getting some local media. So if you're in a smaller market, not like in LA or New York City, or if you used to live in another city and you have roots, it's really strategic and smart to focus on those cities. Or say a smaller independent retailer has you on shelf, I would focus on those markets because of LA and New York City. It's going to be harder to get on those stations because you don't have the experience and or they don't pick up the phone typically when you call them and you have to know someone. So you could still get on at ABC, CBS, NBC, or Fox in a smaller market. And a lot of times if you call like a station in Boise, Idaho, or Reno, or Alabama, you can literally call the news desk and talk to someone. And the other benefit to you guys is you don't have to travel. I know we all go to trade shows, Expo West, and I love that. And you need that for relationships. But imagine not having to travel as much and testing out the messaging and getting in front of new audiences at all times or monthly about your story. And this allows you guys to focus on a couple things. Support your retailers. Retailers want to know how you're supporting their local retailers. And the other thing is what's crazy is I've actually seen more sales come in from smaller regional TV segments, like on an ABC, CBS, NBC, or Fox. There's a plant-based brand that we saw a crap ton of sales. Like I'm talking about hundreds of orders from doing a regional segment in Toledo. And it was like a 3-minute segment around the hero's journey about the product and like buy here. So where you guys are at in your journey, you should never say no to publicity because it's getting your reps in. And those are clips you could send to other known media as well. Other things as well is you can connect with the media on social media, start building relationships. I always tell people to watch the news. I know a lot of people don't want to watch the news, but I think as an entrepreneur, if we don't know the market and we don't know what's going on in the world of competitors and tariffs and everything as a whole, one, my question to you is how are you able to make the best decisions for your business and where you want to go? And two, you're missing out on areas of opportunities that you can lean into from a speaking opportunity as well. Because at the end of the day, media members want stories that are based on new product launches, news jacking what's trending in the news, and those types of things. The other thing too is I'm going to walk you guys through the rich formula real quick because it's going to feed into the secret. But essentially, the rich formula, and I will bring that up. And I'm going to walk you through the rich formula because you guys have probably never thought through how to build out your personal brand because you guys have been founders of your brand. So the rich formula, let me pull this up. Let's see. Okay.
For anyone who joined late, sorry, you can just put your company in the chat for other people to know who's in the room. Sorry, go on,
So,
Heather.
I created the rich formula to help brands essentially create their story so they can pitch to the media because you guys are in the trenches and you probably don't know how to pitch yourself. So what needs to happen so that you're ready to pitch yourself in the rich formula, and I'll give you this link too, and I do have a PDF on it, is you need to reflect on who you are as a person. How we do that is I recommend that you essentially take a piece of paper, draw you on the left side of the paper as a baby, and then draw a line to where you are now. And essentially you write down all the key moments that have happened, the highs and lows that have made you want to start your company and run your company. There's probably things that have happened that made you want to be an entrepreneur, that made you believe in the plant-based lifestyle and starting your company. Because we know CPG and having a business in the CPG space is not an easy feat, right? And we unfortunately will go to trade shows and we see our friends go out of business. So we need to reflect on highs and lows to really reflect on why you're running your company. And those are also key things, you guys, that you absolutely should be including into the brand story. And you could talk about in the media as well. The overall goal is to build you as an expert and someone that is robust that can talk about your business as well as other topics. So when I go through the rich formula on my end, other topics that I talk about is having a 3, 2, and 1-year-old and having a baby and having all my babies at home and running a business. And these are all things that I talk about. And they position me as a founder and CEO of Publicity for Good. But it gives me more verticals to talk about because I'm sure many of you are so focused on the mission that there might be other topics that you would love to talk about, but you haven't thought about it yet. And this will make you someone that's a little bit more multifaceted that will allow you to get more publicity. So you need to really have clarity on that. And you absolutely can use that in the future for copy, your bio, social media as well. The next thing, which I talked about, is you need to know what's going on in the news. So I would set up Google alerts and we need to investigate. So you need to start studying trends. So you could essentially do that by joining Noah's community and literally using his community to stay on top of trends because they do a lot of stories. Also setting Google alerts, and that you need to have clarity on industry trends so you can give your opinion and lean in and be an expert too. You can also do that through setting up Google alerts, Apple News, all those things, okay? The C, which I've already talked about, is connect with the media. Now, how do you do that? Connecting with the media is everything from going to local events, getting involved in local associations or chambers or 5Ks, following them on social media, and just building connections. And when I think of media, I also think of podcast hosts. I also think of who are the other industry leaders in the space. Noah is an industry leader. He has events. He has a podcast. He has a webinar. Do you have an incredible hero's journey? Are you helping to scale your company? Right? Vegpreneur is another platform that I still consider media because it's connected to a website and you're reaching new people. Do you see what I'm saying? So you just have to start building relationships with the media and know media and content creators care about good content. They care about their reach. They want to have on vetted good people. And then at the end of the day, how do you go the extra mile? Is sharing what they posted about you on social and tagging them. Because as a podcast host or a media member, I think a lot of times their role feels very take. And when you go on someone's show or a media member features you, if you just are non-negotiable about sharing it and tagging it, you will build yourself to be the go-to for future stories. And
And
last
thank you,
for
Heather.
that, yeah, go
Yeah,
for it.
thank you for giving us the shout out to the media platform. We publish stories almost every day. I just put a link in the chat for our newswire. You can literally submit press releases for free there. So whenever you have like a launch to share or a story, or even want to be a guest contributor and just share some tips and tricks from building your company, we're always looking for that kind of stuff. All right, back to Heather.
I love that. And Hope and Hunt. And these are baseline things, you guys, that you should be adding to your tool belt, and that you have to start building a brand. And so that's the big picture. So let's go back to the slides. But again, the R in the rich formula is to reflect on who you are and really ensure that you have clarity of everything that's happened to you and then what you're wanting to talk about in the media, because then from there, you'll get clarity on the topics that you want to talk about in the media, because you're not going to be talking about your product, right? Like we need to have educational, consumer focused stories that you can talk about in the media as well. Also, you need to think through what your title is going to be. Are you the founder of your company? I always recommend adding to your title other things you're passionate about. I mean, I don't mean a million things, but how do you add more heart to it? Or how do you add more heart and spunk to it? So it could be like marathon runner, plant-based advocate, and founder of X company. Or you see what I'm saying? Like we want something that's in alignment, that's going to gravitate you towards your customers. And then again, whenever you pitch the media, you should send videos of past segments, photos, all those things. Okay, so that was the first secret. Let's go into how to use calendar timing to get a yes every time. So the truth of it is producers are getting hundreds of pitches every single day. And with AI, they're getting more. And that's why you hire a publicist, because we have the relationships. And regardless of AI, you still need to have you need to have a publicist to help you get in the media and or send introductions and open up doors for you, because media members are inundated, overwhelmed, and media companies are consolidating, right? So another thing is, if you're not launching a new product, you need to connect your pitch to what's going on in the news or an awareness day. So Veganuary is in January. National Nutrition Month is November. So you need to bridge the gap between your messaging, your product, and something newsworthy. And then again, you can use Google alerts to help you get the publicity. Where people fail is your pitch is too promotional, or you're not connecting to what the news cares about as well. All right, let's go into secret 3, how to avoid making yourself look bad when you land that interview. So the most important thing is nurturing your relationship with the media member. So that means showing up early, showing up on time, showing up for the interview. A lot of times, if a media member wants to interview you, they're not going to send you a calendar invite. If you show up for a TV interview, they're not going to do your hair and makeup, right? So like it's your job to put it on your calendar. It's your job to show up. It's your job to make sure they have everything from you for a good segment. So example, if I were to do a TV segment next week in Nashville, I would ensure they have my website link, my name, questions that I hope they ask. I try to control everything I can and make their job easier as well. You're going to want to practice. I always recommend recording yourself on Zoom and looking back, how's lighting, all those things. If you have a media kit, send that. You'll always want to avoid typically wearing white, black, or red during a segment. And recommendations on what to wear is, I mean, yes, you absolutely can wear branded clothing. Sometimes producers will send you a briefing sheet, and on the briefing sheet, it'll say no promotions, no promotional t-shirts. And that's because of the rules with the SEC. That it depends on station or media company. If that's the case, then you're going to want to do the segment, but really focus more on brand awareness and mention your brand. That's just the rules, because you're getting a free segment that most people are paying $15,000 for. and it's a fine line. So it's a case by case basis. They will tell you and they'll send you a booking sheet and they'll tell you you can't wear branded clothing. That's once in a while. If it's in studio, drive to the studio, make sure you're well prepared. I do recommend hair and makeup or having someone go to your house. If you're a girl, whatever you need to do to feel confident, put your phone on, do not disturb, and really just have appreciation for the segment because most brands would die to be on TV and they would love it. So now let's talk about how to maximize every feature that you get to have it last much longer than 30 days. So the biggest thing that I see brands not do is integrate it into the marketing. So essentially what you need to do is ensure you're adding it to your press page, you're adding it to your logo, you're adding a press page to your website, you're updating the investor deck. If you have an investor list, you're sending them emails of where you've been featured. And if you have a customer email list, you're sending out the features to your customer email list to promote as well. And then lastly, adding a traditional PR to your business will make you look like an industry leader. When I say industry leader, it's being featured in Vegpreneur, BevNet, any of those places and stepping into thought leadership. What's going on in the plant-based world? What are lessons? How have you scaled your business? Really all those things. And then adding traditional media stories and features, you'll be seen as an expert and thought leader. You will be able to support retail partners. All the media features is content for a team to post on social. So if you're on TV or you're on a podcast should typically give you 30 pieces of content to post. And then again, local media will go to national media. I will need to pause real quick. I told Noah that we don't have power in Nashville and I need to go help my kiddos. But Noah, if we could pause, maybe you ask anyone have questions for you, and I'll be back in like 5 minutes and then go into Q&A. And then I also can put the deck in the chat too.
Yeah, absolutely, Heather. And I'm happy to also lead a discussion on how other folks in here have approached PR, what's worked and what hasn't. So if anybody wants to share sort of how they've gone about it, have you worked with a publicist? Have you done it yourself? Yeah, anybody. Don't be shy. Hey, what's up, Sarah?
Howdy.
Best
This
best
was
tempeh in the world right
oh,
here.
thank you. This is from a previous company that I did. We made dog breath mints. And so we did crazy things like guerrilla marketing. We held a worst dog breath contest in New York City at Tavern on the Green back when it was in its heyday, and invited the press, and we had CNN there, Fox and Friends, Good Morning America, and it was hilarious. And the winners were, handpicked because they were made great TV. They were a singing group. I mean, it was fabulous. And so doing events around something that's unique about your product and tying that in with maybe some collaborators are always really good. Anyway, that's just one. I haven't had come up with the tempeh equivalent, but
Were you the one smelling the breaths of the dog, or?
no, we had celebrity judges.
Oh wow,
We had like a breathometer, like this big thing that spun around that had ranked how bad it was. I mean, it was really funny.
that's funny. I'm curious, how did you get CNN and the other outlets there? Did you have a publicist or did you do direct outreach?
We did. We had a publicist that helped us with the whole event. Yeah, I mean, I think that they're worth it. If they're really good, they're worth every. The other idea we had was because we had a sort of single serve dog treat. We got our distributor, who also did convenience stores, to put our dog treats in vending machines along the highway because people travel with their dogs. And so we held a press conference And it was March in Maine on a highway. And about five I mean, there were like six people there, but they were from news outlets. It went national. We were in the New York Times, Wall Street Journal. It flew because it was unique. No one had
Did it move
ever,
product?
it absolutely did.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm curious to see what you do for Tempe. What's up, Andy? What do you got going on? We can't hear you for some reason. Still can't hear you. Can't hear
Now?
you, Andy. Now,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
No, no,
now
no,
we go.
yeah.
Hey, love technology. So hi guys, Southern California, Andy Fankhauser, CEO, Micro Expo, my city. I haven't been on a couple of interviews and podcasts and things of that nature. I don't want to say a regret or anything like that, but a reluctance to always say, yeah, it was my idea. Yeah, I did it all. It was my blood, sweat, and tears. Like it was me. But I'm a very, very faith-based individual, so I feel like I'm doing this on behalf of him. Is there a smooth way to go about introducing that? Hey, look, I'm not. This wasn't my idea. This was given to me. I'm just trying not to screw it up, sort of thing. I feel like it's the religious angle of the honesty that I want to bring to the conversation in interviews can be misconstrued or just not really well received because not everybody's religious. Any hints, points, advice, anybody on that sort of thing?
I'm no rabbi, but I can give you my take on it. Um, yeah, I think the way you said it was fine. I mean, you can, I don't think it comes across positively if you're like, it was all my idea and I did everything.
Right.
Some people will put it as like it takes a village, but you can share that, this is a faith-driven mission that you're on. I don't think, yeah, you might not reach everyone, but if that is your story, you'll reach the people that care. And there's definitely, a lot of faith-driven people out there. So that would be my take. Don't be afraid to be yourself. I feel like if you're trying to make everyone happy, you'll make no one happy, especially yourself, which at the end of the day is the hardest.
Sure. Yeah, no. I appreciate that. No, I think a lot. I've brought it up a few times in interviews and I get an agreement or, not a direct conflict of, well, I'm not religious, so, that doesn't really apply to me. But it's it's the honesty I want to bring, authenticity, right, to my interviews and to my product and to the businesses that I run. Uh, and like you said, if you go to try to please everybody, you're going to please nobody. So I just want to see you know, what your feedback was on that.
Yeah, it's your story. It's authentic. You're being honest. I wouldn't hide that.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Anybody else been doing PR or anything successful? I used to bring on a few of our Vegpreneur members onto like TV segments back during COVID. We did a few where I would talk about the plant-based space and then we would have a brand, highlight their products. I haven't done one of those in a while. I've been thinking about bringing them back. But yeah, those were mostly in like local markets. I spoke on Bloomberg radio a few times. I had a segment between the CEO of Moderna and the CEO of, oh, what's the big toy company? Um, but yeah, it was at like 7 p.m. New York time. It was crazy. And I was like, yay, plant-based. So if you want to listen to that recording, it's on our site. Yeah.
I just have a couple more. Most states have an interest in their entrepreneurs and will have segments on their local news, and we've been on a bunch of those, just highlighted. We've also done a bunch of competitions, like there's one that gives out $50,000. It's hosted or sponsored by a bank. And you get in front, and it's on TV. and they, you do your pitch and they produce it, and it's a great way to get the word out, and it's watched by a lot of people. I'm sure that's in most states. We also have submitted for different awards, and we just won a governor's award, which really surprised us, for innovation. And so that put plant-based out there, put our, unique fermentation out there, and yeah. So we've just done lots of things like that, just that are free. That's what's great about it, is it's PR.
That's awesome. Insert Vegpreneur Awards plug here. Y'all should submit to that. But Heather, welcome back. Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate it.
Yeah. You did such a good job answering their questions. And my favorite, I always go by the Gestalt theory, and it's like sharing from what I know from clients and or past experiences, so you guys can choose the best path forward for your brand. So I would say, I think I heard a question on faith. I feel like from a brand perspective, you just have to know who you are and own that and be okay with that, right? Now, if there's certain things that are core to your business, you always talk about those 3 to 4 things. But if you're doing a local interview, you wouldn't lead with the faith component. It would be mentioned. But if you're on like a podcast talking about Christian entrepreneurs or the purpose-driven component of building your business, then you would lead with that. So you typically always have the core 3 to 4 things you talk about, but it's kind of like dating. You will lead with the messaging that is of interest, the first interest, and then talk about the others, if that makes sense.
Ada, do you have a question? Are we taking questions, Heather, or do you have more in your slides?
No, yeah, any questions are good.
Okay, cool. Ada, let's go.
Hey guys, thank you for doing this first off. I have 2 questions. So one of them is, in my experience, every time I cold pitch an editor, if they really wanted to, they responded in like 30 minutes. But then the ones that never respond, I keep following up and they just like, I never hear from them. So is it even worth it to follow up?
I would always follow up, yes. And like I've had pitches that I send, they do a story 6 months later. And then that's where the follow-up, we want to just be like a follow-up. I would send like, hey, this story, Good Morning America just did this story on this topic. You would send them updates in the follow-up email. It wouldn't just be like following up, right?
Okay, got it. Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you. That's helpful. And then the second one was when you're pitching producers and you can't find like the booking or talent producer, like who do you email? Even when I look at like what they're focused on, it doesn't really like give me a good idea. So who do you email in that case?
So you can send it to the general newsroom and then everyone will typically get it. Otherwise, if it's a smaller station, you can call and ask for the best contact for the booker for the morning show.
Okay.
Otherwise, like a lot of times you can do research on Google, type in, give me news tips, email addresses for all the TV stations in this market, like those types of things.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
And if I can chime in here, Heather, Ada, I think to back to your first question, it's always best to not ask for things at the beginning of a relationship. So if you don't need something right away, if you can start off, for example, Ada has an incredible company called Fluency Beauty. She makes incredible beauty products out of plants, like fruits and veggies. Like you could potentially, and Heather, you tell me if this is going too far, but you could like reach out to that newsroom and be like, y'all look great on TV, whatever. Here's some free, try out here's some product for you, for on air. Like just want to love what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. And then when you come back a month later and you have a story, they're like, oh, this person approached us first without an ask. more of a give. So same with investors, like the best time to ask is when you don't, or the best time to meet someone is when you don't need anything from them.
Yeah, right.
Because you can just build that relationship first, because that's at the end of the day really what it is.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. That's great.
Okay. No, I agree.
Andy.
Yeah, maybe hi again. Maybe I missed it, but is there any good template to use to reach out to uh journalists and article writers and newspaper authors and things like that? Like I could run one through ChatGPT, and I've done that a couple times with not much uh ROI. Do you guys have anything slated that would work or has worked in the past? I, happy to buy somebody a beer or lunch and get it. So
So I hear you for sure. What the right answer is it's not necessarily about the copy of the email. It's about they're probably not getting your email. Maybe your email is going to spam and all those things. So the most important thing is building relationships with the media members and figuring out how do you build relationships and how do you get them to respond to a text call or email from you, if that makes sense. Because the copy of it is important, but really what matters most is like building a relationship with them or getting them to respond to you in some way, if that makes sense.
yeah, it does. I just, I know we're all working. I know they're working. It's hard to get their attention, and maybe this is just me. The Sarah, I heard what you said. Congrats on your success. Maybe a question for Sarah, even that my product, I've had two A/B testing rounds. Well, it's a very long story, but the grand product hasn't come out. It's an expo, business expo and trade show. So it's hard to, I guess, get their attention when I don't have an actual product to show. It's more of an idea. Really exciting idea, granted, but it's still an idea on paper, I guess you could say. So I guess the point I was trying to make is, okay, hey, I have this amazing idea. It's about to change the landscape of business expos and trade shows as we know it. Can we talk about it? And then I get crickets, that sort of thing. So
Well, I think it's a couple of things. Like when you Google yourself, what comes up, or you search for yourself on other LLMs or ChatGPT, what comes up? That's why you'll want to utilize Vegpreneur or other industry communities for article placement, or news releases, so that when people Google your name, there's things starting to pop up outside of the website and social. And then I think it's ensuring you have something new to talk about. So how can you connect what you're doing to what's going on in the world of CPG, any of those things, inflation, tariffs, pain points? Then that's really a story.
got it. Okay. All right, cool. Thank you. I appreciate the clarity.
Yeah, and I could also understand why, somebody who's gonna feature you might not want to do it about an idea, because they got to sell it to their editor or producers as well. So I can understand why there may be some hesitation with something that isn't real yet, but I get it. With an event, that's hard because it really only exists when it does. Hey, Kai, I hope I'm not butchering your name there. Kai's curry sounds delicious. We cannot hear you. Are you speaking? Because we cannot hear you. Rachel, you've had Kai's curry?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
we
so
cannot hear you,
good.
Kai, unfortunately.
It's
Maybe
K, but I think it's so
Kay. Oh,
good.
sorry. Kay, maybe you can rejoin because we cannot hear you. Uh,
Beth had a good question. How do you measure ROI and PR efforts? What kind of analytics do you evaluate? So there's two different sides that I see. There's so again, the question is, how do you measure ROI and PR efforts, and what kind of analytics do you evaluate? I look at it from two perspectives, the qualitative and the quantitative. The qualitative is you as a founder telling your story, getting featured in the media, when people Google your name or company and or long-term search in the LLMs, you're popping up. Why does that matter? Because building a personal brand will be with you regardless, and you will be able to utilize that to get another job at a CPG company. You'll have your name with you if you have an exit, and it's the legacy piece. So because I've been in the media 700 plus times doing this for 10 years, I have a social currency. There are hundreds of pieces of me in the media. So that's a legacy. It fulfills my cup and it's giving content for my team to utilize, right? And it's helped me attract bigger clients. People are going to LLMs, finding publicity for good. It's fulfilling my cup because now I'm not just Heather behind the scenes helping run a company. I'm in the media talking about my why. That's the first thing. And I have seen so many clients who have scaled because they're talking about their mission. People who have been on the fence of working with you start working with you, all those things, right? The qualitative side is the traffic to your website, supporting your retail partners, all those different things. So it could be anything from looking at impressions, live links, all those things, but it's also relationship capital when you can show retailers what you're doing to support launches. And it's also potential referral traffic, and it's sending referral traffic to Amazon if you're on Amazon too. So it's, to me, it's qualitative, it's quantitative, and it's also about building a movement, building a community, and you having content to utilize because you've been in the media.
And that's one of the reasons why, we do our founder spotlights. We do these every Monday. They're completely free. So we feature somebody building in our space once a week. So this is, a very nice piece to get. And also our newswire, right? Which again is an opportunity for you to submit press releases and become also a guest contributor on our blog. The link is right here. And then, if you're a member of Entrepreneur, obviously we love giving our members love. So, just today we published about Rhine, which is a plant-based cheese company. We'll do roundups like founders to watch. Obviously, we're going to focus on our members. So these are just like easy or easier ways to already start building a little bit of a reputation and a footprint digitally.
And most people don't understand, yes, outside of the name of Fox or CNN or those names, like you get a sense of legitimacy and trust from customers and family when you start getting in the media. So if you're over analyzing, well, is their audience big? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it's that you're physically featured on a website, the optics of it, right, will just allow people to realize you're a real business.
Like one of our members submitted to our Entrepreneur Awards and they won last year. They make a protein seasoning out of pumpkin seeds, and I don't want to speak for the team, but they said Target was taking them more seriously after they were able to showcase that win for conversations. So definitely, definitely submit to the Entrepreneur Awards. Kay, are you here? Anybody else? Questions, concerns, complaints?
Okay,
I
let's
would
try
say,
one more time.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, it worked. Hi, Noah. Thank you. I saw your link on your WhatsApp group, and we met at Expo West last year. I'm not sure if you remember. My company is Kay's Curries. So I'm from New England, and I tried to turn my camera. Obviously, it's not working. But Heather, thank you for doing this. I'll ask my question. So we've been featured in the local Edible Boston, Edible Rhodey. I've cooked live on TV and Channel 7. So some of these have happened, or mostly them reaching out to me. They've found me in one way or the other. I guess my question is now that I'm starting to like grow further, what are my options? Because I've heard about press release, and I think about like what is the biggest change I should wait when I do that, a packaging change, or I don't know, is getting a grant important? I don't know what is important, and how do you go about doing a press release? Who do you send? I guess the press release. I'll keep it at that. Thank you.
So news releases matter now more and with the LLMs and breaking the LLMs. So I would say ideally quarterly or monthly, but SOP and process says write a news release, ensure it has data, how many customers you have, when were you founded, how many retailers are you in, any Nielsen data around industry trends, add it to your news release. Then essentially reach out to industry partners, Vegpreneur, BevNet, Nosh, Food Navigator, B2B. A lot of them have places where you just upload the news release, then reach out to local media, and then from there, typically put it on the wire. There's different wire services. We can put it on the wire for you. We can send the news release out for you, but we believe everything we do is earned media so literally getting you featured and or interviewed for doing within media, but doing strategic news releases at the same time matters. You're going to want to do both long term because a newswire, most brands will do a newswire and then go quiet, where we really focus on building industry and category leaders like a Nut Pods, like a Flying Embers, brands that are consistent from a brand consumer awareness perspective. Brands who are really focused on advocating and growing a category. So what does that look like? If I look at a year, it could be we're doing media pitching around National Nutrition Month. And then in Q2, we're launching new flavors and we're writing a news release and getting everyone we're launching new products or SKUs and we're announcing it then. And then maybe Q3, we have some more retailers and we're announcing it then. Simultaneously building the brand. Right? There's Veganary, there's World Vegan Month, there's National Vegetarian Day, there's holiday gift guides. So we really create a forward-facing plan, but it is a mixture of news releases, getting industry press to cover it, putting it on the wire, which there's different wire services, and just leaning into earned media as well.
Okay. Thank you.
And also, not to pitch Vegpreneur again, but members have access to our databases, and we have a journalist database here as well with emails, etc. So, yeah, hopefully a great resource as well, especially if you're bootstrapping.
Okay, I will sign up after this. I did not know. I learned today. Noah, sorry about that.
Okay.
Just adding to my previous question. How about like festivals or like gift guides? So I'll try to. Every year I think about like Diwali, and I'm sure like other like some of the news articles come around the holiday or a gift guide. Like how do I like find writers? Like that would be a good way to like get some story out there.
Just Google searching. So Google search Diwali gift guides, look for what's already ranked, and then you can build a list of who already did those stories and reach out 6 months prior to see if they're working on any stories. And a lot of those stories that already are ranking on Google, typically writers will update yearly.
Okay.
Because writers want to have stories that are ranking on Google. And yeah.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Also, create your own, right? Like that would be a great one for the Vegpreneur blog. Come pitch me and say, hey, I'm going to write one. Obviously, we'll include you on it. But you might want to go to other outlets also that don't usually cover Diwali and be like, hey, I've pre-written a list of quality products that I've tested myself. I'll include mine as well, if that's okay. And, is this of interest? Because some of them accept guest contributors.
Okay. Oh, that's a great idea. Thank you.
Cool. Well, we're getting to the end here. Heather, how can people work with you?
Yeah, if anyone wants to do a free consult with us to help us cast a vision, you can just book a call. I can give you the link, Noah. Otherwise, people can email me too, but we just love the space, and I've seen brands impact more people, but their community through telling their story. And yeah, I mean, people buy from you because of your product, your heart, your differentiator. So if you're not in the media and talking about your why and differentiator, why are customers going to join you and buy from you, right? So I think huge opportunity for you to grow your impact and story and everything.